Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 102 of Fatherless Sons. My name is LaShawn Wiley, and I am your host for this episode. And we are going to be talking about our normal agenda here, which is to cover couch time, we'll cover building your empire, and we'll cover fatherless and famous. Okay, so stick around to the end so you can figure out who today's episode Fatherless and Famous is. So let's dive right into today's episode here, starting off with building your empire. And in the building your empire segment of our show, we like to talk about ways to generate money, ways to make wealth, build wealth, ways to use money. Okay. So in this first episode of discussing building your empire, the topic of the day is to talk about the purpose of money. Now, it's a weird topic when you think about it. The purpose of money, most people automatically is going to say what? Is to buy things, right? I want everyone who view these episodes to start seeing money a little bit differently. Okay. So think of it this way. I heard this on the internet a while back where someone discussed the purpose of money and how there's different ways. And I kind of tweaked it a little bit as far as how I'm going to share and explain it with you as far as the purpose of money. But the purpose of money is to do one of three things. And it's described as to pay bills or to buy goods, or the last one, which is the way wealthy people use money, which is to make more money. Okay. So ask yourself, where do you fall on that scale of how to use money? If when you get your paycheck, whether you get paid weekly or every 2 weeks, if the first thing you're thinking about is which bills you need to pay, which bills you need to catch up on, which bills are going to be due, and if you have more time, if you can let it lapse for a couple of weeks, if you have that mindset of which bills you have to pay, then you're on that first level, that first stage of using money. Now, if you basically already have your paychecks planned out, and once that check comes in, pretty much all of it is gone, taking care of bills and things that you have to take care of, yes, you're in that 70%, 80% category. And hopefully the goal is to get you out of that. But for those who are living paycheck to paycheck, they're using their money to pay bills. Okay, the next level of people who are using money to buy things. And normally, the kind of things that they're using the money to buy is the kind of car that they want, the kind of house in the neighborhood that they want, maybe some accessories like fancy bags, fancy shoes, fancy clothes, jewelry, even vacations. Okay. So using your money to buy goods and spend it on having a good vacation, a good time, or a fancy restaurant or eating experience, things that you just want to use your money to enjoy having that money. Now, most of those people are not necessarily living paycheck to paycheck. Some of them are. Don't get me wrong. Some are, paying all their bills, and then they have, let's say, $400 or $500 left at the end of the month. That's free to do whatever. Well, they'll choose to use that money to go eat out, maybe buy that PlayStation or that gadget that they've been thinking about buying, maybe buy some new rims or some sound equipment for their car, things like that. So that money is gone. That $500 is basically gone, and maybe they're down to their last $50 until their next paycheck. So they are indeed living paycheck to paycheck, even though they have extra money to spend on things that they probably don't need. Okay. Now, the last person in these three different tiers is the one who's using their money to make more money. And that's normally the mindset of wealthy people. Okay. So instead of buying that fancy bag or the fancy car, etc., they're using that money to buy things that makes money. I like to call it a money press. If you can save your money up and buy a little money press, a money making machine that can spit out so much money for you every month, then you basically won't run out of money as long as it produces enough money. So running with this ideal of a money press, let's say the money press that I have in mind costs $100,000. And if I'm able to buy this money press, it will spit out, let's say, $2,000 each month. Okay. Now, some may say, well, where am I going to get $100,000 from? Well, it's going to start by that $500 that you actually have that's extra. You're going to put that into a savings account or under your mattress or wherever, and you're going to save that money. You're going to be frugal about going out to eat and buying those new tennis shoes or getting that fancy new car. You're going to be frugal and not do any of that because you need to buy the money press, and the money press costs $100,000. So you need to save every penny that you get until you have enough money to purchase your money press. Once you purchase your money press, you'll use the $2,000 a month that that press kicks out to buy the new shoes, to buy the bag, to buy the car, to buy the etc., whatever else you need. So you want to always use passive income to buy trinkets and things that you want. But the money that you earn from your job, you need to put that money to work. And you should always have your money working for you. I earlier said, well, put the money under your mattress. I was pretty much joking because I would never do that or advise people to do that. Instead of putting money under your mattress, you need to put that money in the bank so it can earn you some money. If your money is not working, then what's the point? What do you have it for? So always put your money to work. Always. Okay. So ask yourself, how do you see money? And there's there's people who blend the three categories together. Okay. So you can take a person who earns quite a bit of money and they say, well, I'm going to use a piece of my paycheck to obviously pay my bills because we all have to pay our bills. And the next part of it, my husband or wife wants to go on a vacation, so I'm going to use a portion of that to go on vacation. And because I'm a high income earner, high wage earner, I still have money left over. So the few bucks that I have left over, I'm going to contribute it into my Roth IRA, or I'm going to increase the amount that is being contributed to my 401k out of my paycheck so that more money can go into my retirement plan. And that retirement plan is based in the stock market, and you're basically buying bits and pieces and ownerships of stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, etc. So that brings me to another important point, which is the key to passive income is ownership. So even in your 401k, you're buying these stocks and little companies. So you're becoming an owner even through your 401k and your Roth IRA. And in other episodes, we'll dive a little bit deeper into 401ks and Roth IRAs. But that individual is crossing and using all three categories, all three levels of ways to spend money. If you're that individual, you should ask yourself how much is going to each category. Now, if you're focused and you're on a mission, you're going to be very frugal on that discretionary spending, that trip, or the money that you have to buy the expensive shoes, hats, clothes, jewelry, etc. So you're going to think twice about spending that money on that, and you're going to put that money into a CD or into some type of savings account that you have access to, not your 401k, because you don't have access to that as long as you're working for the employer, except for through loans and some limited, withdrawals. But inside of a money market account, a CD or a savings account, you're gonna just save that money and let that money earn you a little bit of interest. If your bank is not paying you any type of interest, go up to the relationship banker and ask them, is there a way for you to earn a little bit more interest than what you're getting right now, which is probably zero point zero 0.01 or zero point zero 0.02 or something like that, maybe 30 basis points, you know so put your money to work, save your money, and buy your money press. What is a money press? It's going to be an income generating asset that's going to spit out money to you every single month or every single quarter. Okay. So it's giving you money to live off of. A great example of a money press would be real estate, and it would also be stock, which are the two items that most wealthy people use as wealth generating vehicles. Okay, so maybe in future episodes, we'll dive a little bit deeper on those two topics, but those are examples of money presses. And like I said, the true way for you to obtain wealth is through ownership. So you want to buy and own income generating assets. Okay, that is the key. That is the route to success. All right, so let's jump to our next segment, which is couch time. And I wanted to use this time or this moment to speak about a conversation that I had with one of my mentees. I'm currently mentoring three different individuals, and I'm always trying to find positive ways to spend my time and help others and give back. So you'll always see me mentoring someone. So I won't mention any names as far as the people that I mentor. That's just personal and private for them to divulge, not me. But one young man, he's a young man about 20 years old, 20 21 years old, very young. And he's working a 9 to 5, but he's also involved in, buying his money press and generating passive income as well. Some things that I kind of helped him and steered him into that direction of generating income and using his money the right way to make more money. But there was a conversation he and I had about staying motivated and excelling at the place of business where you work. You hear a lot of different comments about the place that you work, like how much time you want to devote to the place that you work. Do you want to give a lot of time for a company that doesn't really care about you? I hear a lot of young people say, what is the point of working hard like my parents if the company doesn't care about me? Well, I have news for you. Who cares if they care about you? They pay you to work. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, you would be able to work somewhere and the employer appreciates you and what you bring to the table while giving you a paycheck. But in real life, that happens maybe 2 out of 10. Okay. 20% of the time, you'll run into an employer who truly, really appreciate what you bring to the table and the talents that you have and and ask you to use those talents that you have and instead of micromanaging you and treating you like crap and telling you what you're not doing a good job at. Most bosses don't know how to be great bosses. That's just kind of like how it is in real life. So don't look for your job to make you happy. Your job is to serve a purpose. That purpose is to give you money. You're trading time for money. Now, if you have a degree, then you could be picky about where you go. And even in that situation, your boss may not be the kind of boss that you think you deserve. You can't get hung up on that. You have to let that go and understand what the real purpose is of you working your 9 to 5. If you're trying to truly build an empire and build wealth, the true goal of your 9 to 5 is to pay you a paycheck. That is the goal. And from your employer's perspective, their whole goal for you being at the site is to do a job, is to do that job adequately and efficiently and effectively. That's what they're giving you the money for. So you're just trading a service. So don't look for your employer to do more than that, to make you happy, to treat you nicely, to give you the kind of respect that you think you deserve, to give you the leeway that you think you deserve and the credit that you think you deserve. It would be great if your employer does that. But if they don't let that stop you from earning the paycheck. I see some people, they'll stay at a job for 8 months and they'll say, you know what, my boss sucks. And then they'll quit and go to another job. Then they'll stay at the second job for 1 year. And then they'll say, you know what, the colleagues here suck. And then they'll take another job and they'll stay at that job for, let's give them a little extra time, 14 months. But eventually they'll say, the hours are too long or the travel is too hard on me and too hard on my car, and then they'll quit and find something else. If this is you, pretend I'm slapping you in the face right now and telling you to stop. It's not your job. It's not your colleagues. It's not the drive to work. It's none of that. It's you. And you're the one that need to stop because no job is going to ever make you as happy as you want to be. You need to remember the job is there to give you a paycheck. And if you're focused on your money press, then the paycheck is going to help you get there. So don't think about the colleagues or the bosses or the commute to work. Don't think about those things. Instead, focus on your money press, your income generating asset that you're going to purchase and how much money you need to save until you get there. When you're at your 9 to 5 and the colleague is doing something very annoying, just think about your money press. When your boss is being a jerk and asking you to do more work than you should have to do because your colleagues are not working as hard as you are, focus in that moment, focus on your money press. Think about your money press because your money press ideal is what's going to keep you grinding and keep you working and keep you going instead of quitting and giving up and saying, the hell with this. Because no job is ever going to make you as happy as you think you should be. Okay. So remember what your job is for, get your paycheck and save your money because one day you won't have to work there anymore. Now let's jump to our last part of our episode tonight, which is Fatherless and Famous. And I like to pick someone. It could be an actor, it can be a sports figure, it could be an entrepreneur, it could be someone you know. So if you know someone that you want celebrated on this channel, go ahead and leave a comment and leave their story in the comments so that I can celebrate them on the channel. Okay. But as of right now, I'm picking someone who's actually really famous, and he's an actor who grew up without a father figure in a home, and he's a really great actor. He's one of my favorite actors, actually. You know how you have those movie stars that it doesn't matter what the movie is. You don't even have to look at the previews. If this movie star is in the movie, you're going to watch the movie. Well, for me, this actor that I'm going to feature tonight is that kind of actor for me. I'll watch anything he puts out. Okay, so the actor's name is, drum roll please, Denzel Washington is famous and fatherless. That's right. And Denzel is such a balanced guy and such a mature guy and a guiding light for a lot of young actors. It's hard to believe that he grew up without a father figure in the household after a certain age. So after he turned around 14 years of age, his mother and father got a divorce, and his father moved out of the house and really didn't have a whole lot of contact with Denzel after that. So essentially, after that age, he kind of grew up fatherless. His mother did all of the work raising him. And good for you, Denzel, for sticking with the positive path. I'm sure a lot of things tried to give you detours and pull you off the positive path, but you stayed on the positive path, got into acting after taking a camp acting class in high school, and the acting bug kind of bit you at that time. Got serious about acting after college and got your first break around that same time. Now, Denzel's father passed away, and it's reports that Denzel did not cry when his father passed away when Denzel was at his age of 37, and they just didn't really have that bond. They didn't have that connection with each other. Now, Denzel says he doesn't have any ill will towards his father. I mean, he even lived with his father when Denzel was at the age of 18, but his father kicked him out because he was said to be a bad kid. And so his father kicked him out. And that's tough, when you're young and you're fatherless, but you try to reconnect with your father and he kicks you out and says you're a bad kid. That's tough. So to think that Denzel overcame all of that and still ended up being very successful, having 4 kids of his own, 2 of those being sons, being involved in all 4 of his kids' lives with his wife until they grew up to be adults. I mean, that's wonderful. I mean, he changed the course. He did what his father did not do and was not able to do. And I'm not trying to judge or disparage his father. I mean, who knows the complications and ins and out as to why he was not able to be there after the age of 14 for Denzel, and why he could not rebuild his relationship as after Denzel got older. But everyone has to walk their own path and live their own lives. So, but I mean, Denzel was still successful. He worked out just fine. I looked it up. As of right now, Denzel's net worth is $300 million. So if that's not being successful, I don't know what is. My hat is off to you, Denzel. And I love just about every movie you put out. You're just such a great actor. All right, that will do for my episode tonight. Wrapping up episode 102. Please like, subscribe so that more people can see these videos as I put them out. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out with me. Don't let anything stop you, slow you down, or get in your way. Have a good night.